Okay, for part 3, we're joined by your wife Harriet. Thanks for joining us, Harriet. With this, you're part of the business. Yeah. Now, breaking and pre-training is the two things you do, as well as obviously riding. First of all, once again, layman's stuff. But what is breaking a horse? It sounds bad. I'm sure it's not as bad as it sounds.
No, so basically you get, have a horse will arrive in the yard. It's never been sat on, so you basically, it's like sending a kid to school. You send them away to, they learn their manners and a bit of discipline, and they come to me and I teach them their please and thank yous, technically, and in the period they're with me, they go from never being sat on to being sat on and ridden away and schooling over an obstacle, and just having the manners on the floor with this standing still and the patience, and you've got to install that. They just want to fidget and go, and you just got to put a bit of patience on them, and that'll set them up for life then. And if I do my job right, it makes it their career a lot easier, and it makes it, the next man that has them, they haven't got to worry about anything. They can just get on with it.
Okay, I appreciate it's probably a how long is a piece of string question, but if somebody sends your horse to be broken, can you say pick it up in a week or 2 weeks or a month? How long does it take?
It's give or take. It depends on how well they're handled before. If it's just coming out the field and it's never seen a human for 3 years, it's not going to be a 4-week job. But if the majority of the horses are coming back from the sale, so they've been well handled and say it within a month, predominantly, give or take, depending on how much the owner will want done with the horse. But in that period, they'll be cantering and schooling and have the manners, all being well.
So are you the person that gets on, or do you send a stunt man up?
No, well, there's a lot of mick taking in the yard, but I get on most of the horses, yeah. They're sent for me to do. I won't be able to do it all my life, but I like to do it. I want them to go back knowing that they are what I've said they are, and so I'll do the work. I'll do majority of the early stages.
Okay, then would it be predominantly race horses, or would you be show jumpers, ponies for kids? What sort of?
No, it's predominantly thoroughbreds. Yeah, done a few jumpers now for Harriet and through Harriet, and a few eventers and different things. But this time of year it's predominantly the thoroughbreds because it's the time of the season with all the sales and that. But I have done a few for H. They're not as easy as the jumpers. They're not as easy as the racehorses, no.
Is it a different process for?
It take longer, yeah. The brains aren't as quick. They don't.
Calls them stupid.
They're not as sharp mentally as the thoroughbreds.
So, how many horses would you break in a year?
This year's been a bit different. We did over 100 last year, but this year's been slightly different. It started late and not so many came through, but yeah, in the hundreds.
Okay, and the other thing you do is pre-training. Once again,
so pre-training, that's just a follow-on. So they get broken in, and a lot of them then will have a break. They'll get turned out of grass and have a month, 2 months, or what looks suited for that horse. And then when they come back in, then they're basically being pre-trained. So you refresh their mind and you get them going up to a certain level, and then they'll go to their selected trainers. So it's just a follow-on from breaking in, really. You just further educate.
Okay, if you've something I just thought of, if you broken a horse, and just put it in the field for a period of time, is there a danger it will revert back to being wild again, or once that it's done, is it done?
Yeah, if you do it properly, that's it. You can turn a horse out for a year after. If it's done properly at the start, you can chuck them out for a year and bring them back in, and they should be, they've grown up mentally, and it's amazing how much they improve by just chucking them out in the field and doing nothing. They just come on mentally and grow up.
Okay, so what facilities do you have? What do you need to be doing this?
So I rent a yard a mile away from Paul Nichols's, and have kindly have the use of Paul's facilities. So he's got 4 gallops and a school. The yard I rent, I have a school and jumping facilities and a lunge pen and walker, and that's all I need. But to do the breaking. But when you want to further educate the horse and you want to get them cantering away, it's essential to have those gallops, really. You can do so much on farmland and around fields, but if it's rock hard in the summer, you can't do too much, and when it's bottomless in the winter, you can't do too much either because you're going to make a mess. So it's quite paramount you have an all-weather facility to get them cantering away, and then you've done your job properly then, and they can go off and hopefully have a good career.
Okay, so are horses in essentially pre-training until they've been educated to a certain standard, or for a period of time?
Yeah, so they'll that's much individual to the client who owns the horse. So it's they might want it to do 4 months, 5 months of me further educating, or you can just do a month or 2 months, and you've got them up cantering away, and then then it goes to their trainer and off it goes. So it all depends on each trainer, on each owner really.
Okay, now your wife Harriet, top international show jump rider. So obviously a good horsewoman or an excellent horsewoman. Does that transfer across the knowledge to what Will does with the points?
I think we both do take parts of what each other does. I'd never want to do what Will does, and I don't think he would pay much interest or want to do.
Well, Harriet's saying she wouldn't want to do what I do.
No.
I wouldn't be able to do what she does. So whether I want to do or not, it's a completely different style of riding, and I hadn't grown up with that side of it. I was just flapping around on a hunter, and Harriet's learned to ride like a professional from the start. So, but I've definitely learnt with the jumping, and with Harriet, just even listening and watching, just balance and positioning over an obstacle to minimise effort out of that horse.
But the background's the same. So I started in the hunting field with my father, and he did point to points and was an amateur jockey. So I grew up with the pointing kind of side and the racing side, and it was like racing and show jumping always in our family. So then it's kind of worked out quite well. You've just kind of had to learn about the show jumping side.
No, it's I find it very interesting. I've learned a lot. Yeah.
I mean, there's always been a lot more ladies riding in point to points. Were you never tempted back in your youth to?
I was in my youth. Yeah. When I was 18, I wanted to. When I was 16, I really wanted to do it. But Dad said I wouldn't be strong enough. And I think it's different now with the girls. But like this is 10, 15 years ago, and I don't think I would have been, because I was quite a small 16-year-old, and he was quite adamant that if I wanted to race ride as a girl, I'd start at 18. And once I'd got to 18, I was show jumping through and through, and that's what I wanted to do, and the whole racing side had gone. And actually, I think it was the right decision for me, because I don't think I'd be strong enough. So yeah, I've always loved my show jumping.
Okay, so as well as breaking,
it's too dirty a job for Harriet.
As well as breaking and pre-training, you also train point to pointers. Now, is that something that you like to do after, even when you finish riding, or is the ultimate goal to train under rules? And
no, so I'm trying to just set something up in the background now with the training of the pointers. We'll have a dozen pointers to train, and we've got some nice ones to have a go at this year. And I don't have any interest on being a national hunt trainer, but I'd like to have a yard full of pointers to train and go that way. And I get a lot of enjoyment seeing young horses and young riders progress. So if I can do that, then I can help nearly jockey coach or that style, and bring on some young lads and educate them in a way that will set them up for going professional one day.
We talked earlier about the lack of prize money in winning a point-to-point race. So what sort of people decide to own a point-to-point horse? I mean, I assume the training costs a similar amount of money. So what sort of people own point-to-pointers?
Well, they'd be from all different backgrounds really, and a lot of it's quite a locally done thing. I think you'll have farmers to mechanics to any sort of background. They all chip in. A load of mates meet in a pub every weekend. Right, well, let's all chip in and get a pointer. It'll be like that, and they're friendly with the trainer, and it develops like that, I think. And then you'll have some guys that like doing it on their own, but it's more they just want they want to have their friends involved ultimately, and they're not there really to go and win the prize money. They're there to enjoy on a weekend they've got something to look forward to, and let's make a weekend of it. Bring the family, and we'll do a picnic and we'll watch our horse run. It's more like that really.
Are syndicates sort of regulated like they are under rules, or can you just all get together and decide, do an agreement amongst yourselves and own a horse?
Yeah, you have some big syndicates and small syndicates. You won't have 2,000 people in a syndicate, but you might have 20. But it ends up being quite fun, and I think I'd go in on a syndicate when I stop.
No, you're not planning on stopping, though, are you?
I'm not going anywhere.
Ambitions. Now, what ambitions have you got to fulfil as a rider and ultimately as a trainer?
Rider, I'd love to.
Set an unachievable.
I'd love to.
Unbeatable.
Yeah, keep topping up the score sheet with the winners, but I'd love to win at over the entry fences. I've been second over them twice, and every number and letter after that. And I'd like to, having won at Cheltenham, I'd like to win at Liverpool and do that. And there's still the Cheltenham Fox Hunters, the Horse and Hound Cup, some big prizes as an amateur rider that I haven't won. John Mathias has got 6 winners in a day, and I've ridden 5 quite a few times, and second and a fall at the last or something. So there's still little goals like that are always on my mind in the season, and whether that'll become achievable or not, it won't stop me trying.
And Harriet, are you keen on adding the show jumping aspect to the family business?
Yeah, I definitely want to carry on as well, and it's something that I've got so many things that I want to achieve too. I don't think I'd ever want to just take part in wills. I'd quite like to bring my own kind of ideas to the table too, and producing show jumpers for me is what I've done for the last 10 years, and as a family we've done it really well, so I just want to carry on, and I feel that's what I'm good at, and I've kind of lucky I've found that in that sense. So
where would you both like to be in 10 years as far as business, the training and the show jumping
Running
goes?
a business together?
Yeah, well, both businesses would work well alongside each other. I break in horses and produce young horses, and Harriet wants to produce young show jumpers, so that can definitely run alongside each other, and we can work together and do that sort of business. Both yards are a bit separate for that at the moment, but the future will be to become under the same radar at some point and go down that route, and that's what Harriet loves to do, and this is what I love to do. So fortunate they'd work alongside each other.
Excellent. Well,
doesn't always happen, does it?
Excellent. Well, Harriet and Will Biddick,
yeah.
thank you very much.
Good man. Thank you.
Thanks.